story from backpacking the PNW. This time I'm at home. Been on injured reserve for a little while with broken pelvis. So it's given me the chance to take a peek at my upcoming season and really evaluate really what I want to accomplish this year. And my thought process is to stop doing the long miles, stop trying to get the 20-mile days. And I want to go back to my basics. My dad and I, when I was very young, did a type of camping that would be equated to bushcrafting, survival camping today. At that time, that term really wasn't used. It's just what we did. So I want to get back and hone my skills. I want to build fires. I want to do primitive camping to a certain extent. I'll still be bringing my tent, my hammocks, that type of thing. But I want to get off the beaten path and just enjoy the camp itself and the duties around the camp. So while we're sitting here, I'm recovering. Got more weeks to go here and pretty much just sitting in this chair. I realized that some of my gear was not up to par with what I needed. For bushcrafting, I'm carrying a Mora companion knife. It's just not going to handle the duties of camp. So I went ahead and placed an order, and I made a decision. It was tough because there's so many great ones out there. Ontario Knife Company. And while I was doing this, my wife, we got her one too. So we're going to do an unboxing today, and this is going to be kind of fun because I've seen the knives just online. Read a lot of comparisons and watched a lot of YouTube videos on them. So we're going to take a peek here.
Ontario Knife Company. Your box is different than mine also. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's a little bit longer.
Yeah. But I mean you're such a goober. Hey, what are you doing? It's kind of funny you need a knife to open
a knife box.
Knife box.
Let's get the ends just to make sure. Okay.
Oh, thank you, honey. Let's see. Can you see? Ooh, got 3. It's the one I chose. I looked at a couple different ones.
Good.
Okay.
Let's see what it looks like.
Here we go. Aha, they sent me a sheath. Yay.
So first thing I see is like a Cordura sheath, single pocket, got 2 snaps, and a fixed belt loop. It's not a Velcro belt loop. Molly attachments on the back and a snap. And then you do have some tie downs down at the bottom if in case you wanted to, maybe hang it as a neck knife or maybe strap it to the leg. So there's the sheath. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, but looks of good quality.
That's sturdier than I thought it would be.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Little instruction book.
Instrucciones. And ooh, a little bit of, obviously not packaged real well, but that's okay.
No, there's no packaging around the knife at all except for the blade. It has cardboard, little cardboard sheath here for it. And a little dirt on the scales.
A little dirt, that's okay.
They're kind of like the micarta scales, I think, is what they are.
Yes, and I think this was the linen.
Linen color?
Linen, well no, I think that was the linen.
Oh, the linen texture, okay.
Texture, thank you. Okay, so here we go. Ooh, pretty. I don't know if you can see here. Nice. I chose a serrated edge for mine, which was a buck more.
We'll give the dimensions on the knife and do a true workup on the knives later. This is simply an unboxing, but let me see it real quick. You've got a powder coated finish on the blade here at first glance. There's just some, it's not bad, but there's just some, I don't want to call it debris.
We ordered ours, just disclaimer, we ordered ours from Amazon and they were about $20 cheaper. I don't know if that means that perhaps this had been opened or it's just treated differently, but it does look like the box has been through some issues, but that is what it is. So overall, fits in my hand. I have very small hands, childlike, troll-like size hands, so it fits nicely for me.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to see what mine is. I ordered the Rat 3, and it says with sheath. And of course, I do need a knife again. I could have used yours, but
Yeah, if you want to use my knife.
no. Okay, so pulling mine out, my knife is on top, but I'm gonna look at my sheath. And my sheath is basically the same sheath, longer. One snap that probably goes around it to hold it in, and then one around the handle here.
Oh, that's weird. Does mine do that too?
No, no.
Oh,
Yours just goes around the handle.
Cool.
And then basically MOLLE attachments at the back with a snap. And again, just a belt loop, no Velcro, so you would have to feed this through. So not a big deal. Same thing on mine. The knife is sheath with cardboard. When you look at it, basically a very nice knife. Details look good, scales look good. It's nice and smooth. We'll take a few minutes and we'll go through
Ooh, that's beefy.
the knife itself and take a good look at it, but this is basically the first look at the knife here.
Cool.
We'll see how sharp they are here in a minute, and usually on knives like this, right out of the box, they're probably not sharp enough for my standards, so.
May I?
Yes.
Wow. Good.
And in the
Good
box,
heft.
there's also a little card that talks about the warranties and stuff. So we're gonna take a further look at it, and then we'll get back with you. Okay, we're back now, and we've had a chance to take a 5-minute look at the knives. And the first thing that we discovered was there's not necessarily issues with the sheaths, but there are difficulties with the sheaths. And let's start with Jen's here first. It fits nice. There's not a lot of wiggle. Overall, it fits the sheath very nicely. But here's the issue. Extract the knife. And as you come back to put the knife back in the sheath, the way it's set up, it doesn't go in.
Yeah. Let's see if you can. I don't know if you can appreciate what it's. Can you see if it's getting hung up on the little edge is getting hung up there? So I don't know if that's operator error or if it's going to wear a little bit.
No, it's a design error.
Okay. So.
You would have to pull the knife while the knife is on your belt. It would be very difficult to get this back in and sheathed. It's going to be like this. You're going to be putting it in, and then what do you do with this? You'd have to pull it out slightly, and then it would bury in the sheath. Mm-hmm. So when we ordered these knives, we knew that they were going to come with very, very simple sheaths, and the thought process is hard to replace them with a Kydex or something else. And so, but right off the bat, really Jen's knife is not serviceable in the sheath. She can't use it.
Well, I could. I would need to be aware, I guess.
Yeah. Well, on your belt, I don't think you could ever get it in. So anyway, a lot of times we don't wear knives on our belts anyway. They are packed in a backpack and they're brought out for the task at hand. But that's the first impression on that. So hers, I think, would be very difficult to use.
Yeah. Which is a little bit disappointing for me personally, because part of my decision in buying this knife was the sheath, even though it is a very rudimentary one. It was simple. We don't do leather, so that limited our choices of knives quite a bit. So kind of a bummer. Fixable, obviously, but still.
Yeah, disappointing.
Disappointing, but beautiful knife, definitely.
Okay, we're going to take some more looks at it, and we'll give you some stats, and we'll go from there. Okay, we've had a few more minutes to take a peek, and paper test. Let's start with mine first. People are going to love this.
Oh my.
No. Jen's.
Oh, a little bit better. Well, straight out of the box, I guess.
The serrated edge kind of gets it started. These knives are not sharp, not serviceable the way they are. Would not cut much of anything. So, if you are going to purchase a knife like this, and I'm not talking about all brands, But knives like this, you don't want to just purchase them and head up to the hills. They will not perform the way that they're supposed to perform. They do need an edge on them. These have no edge. It is very dull. I can press against it. I would find this interesting to see if it would even cut my skin. So,
Want to do a test?
no, but dull knives are very, very dangerous because you overtax the motion of what you're trying to do, and you end up either damaging the knife or hurting yourself. So these will need to be sharpened. They are substandard right out of the box. The Rat 3 and the Rat 5 are both made out of 1095 carbon steel. The overall length on the Rat 3 right here is 7.625 inches. Blade length 3.625 inches, and the blade width is 0.13, which equates to a little over 1/8 of an inch. The total weight of the knife is 4.8 ounces, and that is without the sheath. The Rat 5, 10.5 inches overall, 5-inch blade. Blade thickness is 0.19, which equates to about 3/16 of an inch, a little bit thicker than that. And 11.5 ounces in weight. Pretty hefty knife, but that gives you some overall details on the knife itself. Okay, we're back for a couple minutes. We took a look at the knives, and there's a couple of things that are not, I'm not happy with. On Jen's knife, we went ahead and washed the scales, and they came out a little cleaner, so out of the box, the knife was very dirty. It's a lot cleaner than what it was. On the spline on the back, on the edge there, the fit and finish is very poor. There's actually little fibers sticking up, and you can feel that. So the first thing I'm gonna have to do is take a piece of sandpaper to the knife and sand that off, because that's not acceptable the way it is. And then on my knife, I got cut off my knife, but not off the knife. There are fragments or little shards sticking up out of the hardware
Right here.
that holds the scale together.
That's the worst one right
I
there.
don't know if you can see that or not.
No, you can kind of see.
That's not right. And
Right here was the other one. I
and
think.
the one on the back, when you rub
Yeah.
your hand over it, actually it scrapes skin off of me. That's not right either. The fit and finish has to be better on these knives. I know that they're not the most expensive knife, but that has to be better.
The other thing I noticed too, and I don't know if you can appreciate this with the color, there is a distinct, almost a reddish tinge here, and I'm hoping it's not rust.
Yeah. We were wondering if that's rust. I almost want to take the scales off.
Yeah, let's take them
and take a
off.
peek at that. I'd be most displeased if there's rust already on the knife. So we're going to probably do that, and one way or the other, we'll get back to you and let you know what the final findings are.
It did come out cleaner, and the other thing I noticed too, when I washed it, it cleaned very easily, and it dried really fast. So that's kind of cool.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
Disappointment right now, and I shouldn't have that. I expect more. I expected more. I expect not to get cut off my own knife off the handle.
Yeah, that's pokey.
So, and then I expect not to have to sand or grind or do stuff in order to even use the knife.
You noticed 2 different colors now. So we wash yours, I think.
We're gonna wash mine as well and see what happens with that. But I gotta take the hardware out, and I've got to grind or sand the hardware of the knife, and I've also got to sand the back of Jen's knife, and that shouldn't happen.
Or we send them back.
That is true, but my thought process is there's gonna be fit and finish issues on anything that gets sent. I think their attention to detail is poor, and I think with my knife, I will just alter them and make them good for me. So anyway, for right now, that's what we're gonna go with, and we'll get back to you. Okay, back for a second. Knives have been disassembled. The scales, in order to make them serviceable, we're gonna have to sand the backs of them. I'm gonna do that while that's off. Both scales cleaned up very well. They look better, so they must have been dirty. There's no rust on the spine of Jen's knife at all. What we were seeing was the fit and finish. These are actually higher on the spline, so it's creating a shadow. And whereas mine is perfectly flat when the scales are on, Jen's stick up, so I'm gonna have to sand that as well. You can feel it in your hand, and it's uncomfortable. You can feel the edge of it, and it feels fairly sharp, so I'm gonna be taking the rough edge off on that. Otherwise, there's nothing wrong with the knives at all. just, again, very disappointed in the fit and finish. Okay, we're back to give you our final opinions on the knives. Jen, what do you think about your knife?
I like it. I love how it feels. It feels good in my hand. It's not overly heavy. I am not a big person, so this feels like it was made for me. I don't know what this would feel like in a larger hand, but I really like it. I like the color of it, and I'm happy with the size. So that's basically it on that.
Okay, for me, it fits my hand very well. I have fairly large hands. I feel like the control on the knife is going to be great when I come up, on the knife for small tasks. Overall fit feels good. It doesn't feel awkward. It feels like it's going to be a good serviceable knife. I don't like the sheath. I think the sheath it's serviceable, but I think the quality looks okay. I just think it's a cheap sheath that comes with it. I will be looking to replace it almost immediately, and that's too bad. The knife itself, the packaging, I feel like it should have been better packaged.
Yeah, I agree.
To put a cardboard sheath over the top of it to protect the knife is perfectly fine. There was no packing on the knife at all. Jen's knife looks dirty.
Yeah.
We're gonna go wash our knives. So
yours is, and
I'm not sure if that's the details in the actual casting or it's supposed to be like that, but Jen has some rub marks on it that looks like it's dirty. The boxes are very nice. It looks nice when you get it. You have a good feeling about the knife. I like the knife. I don't mean to be critical, but at the same time, you are spending money and there's a certain expectation of it. I would expect it to be sharper coming out of the box. I know that a lot of times you have to put another edge on it or put a sharpening on them or maybe even a strop. But at the same time, people are going to open this knife and expect to use it.
Well, and if you have a new knife owner who doesn't know any better, they're going to think, hey, I'm getting a product that I can use.
Yeah.
And like you said, make the mistake of going out into the bush and not having it sharp. That could be a problem.
And you saw the paper cut. I couldn't even cut paper with this. Yes, you could probably, do a feather stick, but it is substandard in the sharpness right out of the box.
My thought is, have these been used? Probably not, but that's the impression I get with the wear and the markings. I don't mind knives getting dirty. I just want it to be my dirt.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, I love the knife. I'm very happy with it. I'm anxious to get out and actually use it. And I think it's going to be a good solid knife for years to come. I don't see a problem. Overall heft of the knife is just nice. I can see batoning with it. I can see coming up on the jibbing and doing small detail work with it. I think it's going to be a great knife, and I think it's going to be even better once I put in a Kydex sheath and put a fire starter on it, and everything that I'm going to need for this knife. But
I really appreciate the shape too. I mean, it really, your hand really hugs it, and
let me see the knife real quick.
Yeah.
Now
your
on her
hand's
knife,
bigger,
what happens on Jen's knife with me is I cannot grip the whole knife itself. My last finger is kind of off. However, on small detail work, it feels really nice. I feel like I could do some carving with this very easily. I think for me, if I had Jen's knife, I'd put a lanyard on it, and I think I'd put my hand through it, because if I did any work at all, I think the knife would slip out of my hand, honestly. Because my last finger's not even on it at all. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I think that would be the case. But overall, I love her knife too. I could see that using as a second carry knife for me.
Oh yeah, that would be great. This is a real bummer. This
the sheath.
To me is a design flaw, like you said. All they would have had to do is remove this, bring this guy down, maybe.
Do one or sew one piece. It's adjustable, and I can understand that. But the angle, if you can see this right here, the knife has to come in at a very sharp angle in order to get into it. No.
Okay.
And then it catches, and so you physically have to lift the knife up to take it the rest of the way in. Design flaw. We'll be looking for a sheath for her as well.
That's a bummer, because that was one of the reasons.
It's not usable.
Yeah.
The sheath is not usable.
I was willing to do a cheaper sheath, and go with that, and if it works, because if it works, it works.
There's an alternative. We could cut this off and just go with a single snap, and that may be what we need to do to begin with, but you shouldn't have to cut things off a new product in order to use it. So we're gonna wrap this up, and we'll do another video when it's time, out in the field, and just give us our overall opinion on, chopping and batoning and that kind of stuff.
Maybe
So
do some comparisons too.
that's true.
Okay, cool.
Okay, until next time, Frank and Jen
Me too.
from Backpacking the PNW. Thanks for watching.
Bye.